Good morning and welcome to A Wholesome Soul. Welcome to episode 3 of Journey Back to Self. In the first 2 episodes, we talked about vulnerability and how that is really the pathway to real connection with people, is allowing yourself to be vulnerable with them and to let them be vulnerable with you without judgment. And the second video that we did together was letting go of your ego. And that really leads to vulnerability. So they go hand in hand. And like I said, they're step 1 and step 2, but they can be done simultaneously, which is the way that I did it. There's no particular order on those two. But letting go of your ego really is the only way to find vulnerability in your life, because the real you starts to shine through. And today we're going to talk about self-sabotage. Sounds a little daunting, but it's a really cool trip if you're ready for it. So what is self-sabotage? Because that's what we're going to talk about today. Self-sabotage. I was guilty of self-sabotage probably my entire adult life, and just am trying to deprogram myself from thinking in a self-sabotaging way. So what is self-sabotage? It is getting in your own way, making the same bad decisions over and over again, but expecting some sort of different outcome. Like choosing the same partner, but in a different body over and over again, and expecting to have a great relationship or a different kind of relationship. And I would suggest, and this is what I did, if you find yourself between relationships, you find yourself single, stay that way for several years. Be alone, be by yourself, figure out what makes you tick, figure out who you are, and figure out where your boundaries are, figure out what you will and won't allow in your life, figure out how to communicate with people effectively, and decide what things are important to you in your life. Let go of your ego. Learn to be vulnerable with people that aren't super, super close to you. And then you can sort of shorten that circle into the people that you really, really love. I've found initially that it was much easier for me to be vulnerable with people that I worked with, or people that I ran across in the grocery store, clerks and other shoppers, because I had nothing to lose. Right? It was easy for me to be vulnerable with someone who didn't know me and couldn't judge me based on things that they knew about me. So I started that way, and then I narrowed the field down to the people that were closest to me, and they're the hardest people to be vulnerable with, because they know you and they'll question why you've changed. They'll ask you what's going on, are you feeling okay? But you just got to roll with it, okay? Because it's the only way to truly connect with people. Another form of self-sabotage, besides choosing bad relationships over and over again, is numbing out with alcohol, food, drugs. It's a way of checking out and not dealing with what your present situation is, not dealing with the issues at hand. And numbing out does nothing but waste time. It just wastes time in your life, and instead of really connecting with people, you're connecting through that filter of alcohol and drugs. And you probably won't remember what conversation you had with someone if you're drunk or on drugs, or even buzzed on those things. You won't have true connection, okay? Because it's not really you. It's a filter that the real you is trying to move through. Doesn't work, okay? So that's another form of self-sabotage, and you probably do it maybe daily. You're drinking wine while you're cooking dinner, and that's the way you're dealing with your kids. That's the way you're dealing with your spouse. Maybe you take drugs every day. Well, that's not the real you shining through. It's the drug you, it's the alcohol you, it's the food you, it's the you that checks out and just concentrates on whatever you're eating you, okay? Not the real you. Self-sabotage. Another form of self-sabotage that I was super guilty of, and am still working on this, is foreboding joy. And Brene Brown, my favorite person, Brene Brown talks about foreboding joy, and it's so real. And I didn't even know what to call it until she called it something, and she called it foreboding joy. And here's what it is, and it's the belief that you're not worthy of a great outcome. It's the belief, and this is really what self-sabotage is in general, the belief that you are not worthy to have a great life, to have a great outcome, to have a great sense of self, to have what you want in life. And foreboding joy is a way of making sure that happens. Because if something good starts to happen in your life, foreboding joy sometimes takes over, at least it did with me, does with me, and says, well, you know what, this is a great job, but I bet you that the people that I work with aren't going to like me. Or it's probably not going to last very long. Or this is just a project and it's going to be over in 6 months. And then what am I going to do? So you're really, instead of enjoying the moment and enjoying what you're doing and enjoying your job or your partner or your child or your dog or whatever it is that's making you happy in the moment, that you are thinking ahead, which causes anxiety. You're thinking ahead to all the bad things that could happen, but may not happen. You're foreboding your joy. You are cutting it off at the knees and you're saying, I'm not worthy of a great outcome. So I'm already going to go ahead and set myself up for this failure. So I'm not disappointed when it happens because I don't want to look foolish. That's what I always thought. I don't want to look like I was all, expecting great things and all excited, and then the rug got pulled out from under me and I looked foolish. So that was what caused me to practice foreboding joy in my life. You may have another reason why, but it was mostly because I didn't want to be embarrassed or caught off guard by being this joyful person and then everybody seeing me crash because things didn't work out. Well, guess what? Things don't work out every single day for lots and lots of people, okay? So it's not just you, and you have to be in the moment and enjoy what you have in spite of what might happen, okay? Because we don't know what's going to happen down the road. We just don't have any idea, and that just causes a lot of anxiety. And when you get into this habit of foreboding joy, what you're really doing is manifesting exactly what you worried about into your life. If you are worried about your job ending, if you're worried about your child misbehaving, if you're worried about your spouse cheating, then what you're really doing is sending that out, and that's what you're going to get back, okay? Because that's the way karma works. If that's all you think about is all the horrible things that are going to happen in your life, I don't have enough money, I'm too fat, I can't get off drugs, I can't stop drinking wine every night. If you think about all of those things, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. If you flip the script and you start thinking the other way around and you think about just joy, leave the foreboding part off, scratch it out. Joy, just think about joy. I have a home. I have a spouse that loves me. I have children that I love and respect. I have a wonderful dog. I have a great job. I have a job that pays me every week. I have great coworkers. If you just flip the script and rethink it, that's what you're going to manifest into your life, okay? You're not going to be thinking ahead down the line to all the horrible things that could happen. Because guess what? Shit happens. It just does. Whether you worry about it or not, it happens. So sometimes things are out of your hand, but you can control your thoughts, and your thoughts control your life. So I started to mention why we self-sabotage in the beginning. And, like I said, it's because we don't feel worthy of the great things that life has to offer us, or we don't deserve them somehow. And that could be based on some childhood trauma that you had, some abuse that you suffered, or it could just be some programming that you received through the media. The media tells us how great and perfect we have to be. Pinterest shows us how perfect everybody else's life is. Instagram shows us how perfect everybody else's life is. Social media. And it may be a self-imposed judgment that you have on yourself. But you might say, I can't change my thinking. But guess what? You changed it to that, so you can change it from that, okay? And it's just a program. It's like a computer. It's a program you're running in your mind that tells you that you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you have to be a certain way, act a certain way, and you can reprogram yourself. Just install new hardware, okay? When you start to change your thinking, it changes the neural pathways in your brain, and you can create brand new neural pathways. And they say that that's a real key to preventing Alzheimer's disease, and I'm all for that. So learning new things, retraining your brain to think a different way, okay? You don't have to think the same way you've always thought. You can change today. You can change it. Just start thinking a new way. So another form of self-sabotage, I kind of got off track. Another form of self-sabotage is overthinking. And I know several people that are overthinkers. And I don't necessarily think of myself as one all the time, but I'm definitely guilty of it some of the time. Overthinking is anytime you spend a few moments thinking about something and concentrating on it. And technically, that's prayer or meditation. Okay, so you can choose to overthink about something negative, or you can choose to overthink about something positive. And when you overthink about something negative, it really just steals your joy that you're able to have in the moment. And whatever you're thinking about and overthinking about, you're making it happen, just like I said a few minutes ago. So you're actually manifesting whatever you're overthinking about. So if you want to overthink about world peace, knock yourself out. But if you want to overthink about what your boyfriend's up to while you're at work, then you're manifesting all kinds of anxiety into your life. And that is no good for anybody. It's not good for him, it's not good for your relationship, and it's not good for you. So there's a saying that, I'm paraphrasing here, but there's a saying that says something like, if you're living in the past, you're probably resentful or depressed because you're thinking about unmet expectations or regret over a bad decision. And if you're living in the future, this causes anxiety because you can't predict the future, and worrying over it doesn't change it. But affirming a good and fruitful future sets the stage for a good outcome. Now, the best way to live is to live in the present, okay? Because the present is right now, and it is the most beneficial to you. And you can change your present moment, right? You can't change your past, and you can't change your future necessarily, because there are a lot of factors that affect the future, not just what you're manifesting and thinking about. But you can change your present moment, right? Because it's happening right this second. Like, I am sitting in this chair. I am holding my intuition crystal. I am here right in this moment. I'm feeling my body. I'm feeling how I feel. I am not thinking about anything in the future. I'm not thinking about anything in the past. I'm thinking about what I'm telling you right this minute. I'm in the moment, okay? And living in the moment is called mindfulness. And that's a real catchy phrase these days. And everybody talks about being mindful and living in the moment. But it really, really makes a big difference in your life if you live in a mindful way. And really what mindfulness is just paying attention to what's happening in this very moment. So when you first wake up, just appreciate your bed and how cozy and warm it is. How good your coffee really tastes. When you're at work, think about the moment that you're in. I am stocking this shelf. I am taking blood from this patient. I am living in this very moment. And just appreciate that for what it is. And I heard Oprah interviewed on mindfulness one time, or she was interviewing somebody about mindfulness. And she said that the way she practices mindfulness first thing in the morning is that when she's in the shower, she says to herself, I am in the shower. I am washing my hair. I am bathing myself. She smells the soap. She smells the shampoo. She feels the warm water. She's not thinking about all the crazy stuff she's got going on in her day ahead. Because guess what? That's not helping her enjoy the moment that she's in. She's not thinking about yesterday's show that she taped because it's over, right? There's nothing she can do about yesterday's show, yesterday's interview, yesterday's world, yesterday's life. She can only live in the moment. And that's the way she starts her day. And I never have forgotten when she said that because it made a big impact on me. I am in the shower. And that can apply to anything. I am drinking my coffee. Taste every taste, taste every sip. Feel the covers on you before you wake up. And thank God for the beautiful day that He's given you. An opportunity, another opportunity to live fully, presently in this moment, right? Because it's the only one you have control over. So to help me with mindfulness, one of the things that I do, I keep my phone on me all day. I have a little, it's called a flip belt, and I use it when I run or when I exercise, and my phone slips into the back of it, and I just wear it under my clothes on top of my yoga pants. And I set an app that I have called Insight Timer, and it's good for lots of things, but I have mine set to ding every 30 minutes. And I have the volume turned up pretty high so I can hear it while I'm at work, and it dings every 30 minutes. And every time I hear that bell, I stop what I'm doing mentally and I think about how grateful I am to be in this moment. It reminds me, it's every 30-minute reminder to be in the moment. I take a big deep breath. I pay attention to what I'm doing. I focus on what I'm doing. I make myself aware of my surroundings, and then I move on with my work, okay? With that mindfulness in mind. And every 30 minutes, it reminds me. And sometimes it's funny because it kind of wakes me up and makes me think, oh gosh, I wasn't even paying attention to what I was doing. I was thinking about what I'm making for dinner tonight. I was thinking about the trip I'm taking this weekend. I was thinking about the relationship I had 30 years ago that screwed me up, or whatever you're thinking about. And it wakes you up and it makes you realize how few times during the day that you're mindful. It makes you realize that you're rarely ever living in the present moment. And it's sobering. It's really sobering, but enlightening at the same time. So maybe later I won't need the app, but right now I need the app. So I use the app every day. And people are like, what's that ding? And I just say, just a reminder, that's all it is. And I let it go. So another self-sabotaging habit that I have had and still have is fake conversations in my head. And this makes me sound a little wacky and a little crazy, but I bet you've done this before too. So these fake conversations go something like this. So there's something that I feel like I want to say or want to, a conversation I want to have with someone. So the fake conversation starts in my head and I say what it is that I want to say. And then I make up the response that the person is going to give back to me based on my opinion and my expectations, not based on reality. It's a whole conversation that I have in my head with someone based on what I think their response is going to be. And most of the time, it's a lie. It's a lie that my mind is telling me because I don't want to have a real conversation with somebody. I want to make up these preconceived ideas about what I think they're thinking, which is made up. I want to make that up so that I don't have to have the conversation because I can say, oh no, he's ticked off at me or he doesn't like me. How do I know that? I'm making it up in my head. I am making that up in my head. Most of the time, you'll find out it's not true. But you have these conversations with yourself and you make up responses that other people haven't given you. You make them up so that you can reconcile the fact that you don't want to have a conversation with someone or you don't want to explore a situation with someone. So you make up these fake conversations in your head that go off on a tangent and you make it a belief. You make it a real belief that is based on nothing but your fear of a real conversation or your fear of vulnerability. Again, right? You don't want to be vulnerable with someone and say, hey, you know what? I need to talk to you about something. This is on my mind. How do you feel about this? And then just shut up and let them talk. Instead of doing that, we have the conversation in our head and we make it up. And that goes back to the overthinking, pondering something in your brain until you actually believe it. And it's not based on reality. It's based on your mind taking over, your ego taking over, your lack of vulnerability with people and wanting to know the real truth. And you know what? That is BS. That is BS. Because A, you never get to say what you really want to say in real life in a really calm, mature, open, connected way. And B, you never know what the other person's real response is because you never have asked them or you never have talked to them about it. So then what happens is you close yourself off, you put up those walls, you shut out vulnerability completely, you put up those walls because you've made up your mind already what the other person thinks. Foreboding joy, lack of vulnerability, your ego takes over, all the things we've already talked about, right? So you put up this wall, and you close yourself off and you stay pissed off for nothing, for no reason at all, for some made up reason in your head. Okay. And so the other person's thinking, what the hell is going on with this person? Well, it's because you're living all up in here instead of living from here and just being open and expecting the best from people and expecting the best from yourself. and you're miserable anyway. So if the other person does have a negative response to you, you're not going to be any more miserable than you are living this closed up, walled off life. You're not. You're not going to be more miserable than that. No one can be more miserable than that. So that used to happen to me all the time. But I decided that I needed to retrain my brain, right? The neural pathways. Start thinking a different way, because what I was doing wasn't working, okay? I had learned to be vulnerable with the people, in my peripheral world, but the people closest to me, no way. I didn't say what I thought. I made up things that they thought about me, and it's just a sick, weird way to live, and it's not healthy for anybody, okay? And so I just decided that I was going to retrain my brain, and if somebody responded to me in a negative way, it couldn't be any worse than the way I was already feeling, and it has really made a big difference in my life. I just feeling like I live way more authentically now, and I still deal with this on a daily basis, okay? A daily basis. So retraining your brain is not overnight success. It's just not. I mean, neural pathways are deep. They run deep in your brain, and to retrain those and to make a new path it takes a while. But the outcome, I know, is going to be well worth the work that I put into it. So these are just a few self-sabotaging habits that that I've experienced in my life, and there are a million more. I mean, anything you do that negatively impacts your soul and yourself is self-sabotage, right? So, but these are just a few examples that I am dealing with and learning to change. So stopping the self-sabotaging beliefs in your head is difficult. I know it is, because I deal with it every day. But moving ahead with your life in a positive way demands that you let go of this stuff, okay? You have to if you want to grow and move forward. And you can't really tune in to the present if you're always thinking about the past or the future. It's that mindfulness. Remember Oprah, I am in the shower. So just for today, maybe get the Insight timer or use a timer on your phone. And every 30 minutes, take a second to be in the moment. Feel how your body feels. Breathe. Be grateful. Then 30 minutes later, do it again. Just for today. Also, just for today, try a few minutes of meditation before you start your day, or while you're having your coffee, before your day gets rolling, before your brain gets rolling, before your mind takes over, okay? Because it will, until your Insight timer goes off. And then you'll come back to the present moment. But just for today, try a few moments of meditation. And sometimes it's best to do it before you even get out of bed. Okay, you're waking up, your brain is still a little cloudy, and you can just say, thank you, God, thank you, Spirit, thank you, higher self, thank you, universe, whatever your God is. Thank you for this day. Help me to be of service to people today. And just calm your mind for a minute before you get out of bed. That's one way to meditate. Another is to go ahead and get up, and before your day gets rolling, to really do a seated, very mindful meditation. See how your body feels. Try to clear your mind of thoughts of anxiety of the future or regret of the past. And if you feel like you need to do some guided meditations initially to get used to that being still and being in your body, there are some good guided meditations that you can look up on YouTube. One of my favorites, and one of the ones that helped me get started, is a page called Pura Rasa, Purarasa, and she has the most beautiful voice and the most beautiful guided meditations. And she really helped me to learn how to meditate through guided meditations first. And I still do some of those. I don't meditate alone every single day. Sometimes she comes with me. And that's just a really great way to start your day in a positive way. It's kind of like taking a mini vacation before you even get your day rolling. So you start fresh, and you start with a good positive attitude, and you start from the moment that you're in. You don't start from a negative place. So something else that you can start today, and I've given you 2 other things to do today. And again, today's Wednesday. It's not Monday. You don't have to wait till Monday. That's living in the future. That's giving you anxiety about Monday. Just do it today. Do it right this second. Do it as soon as you quit watching this. You don't have to start on a Monday. Okay, everything's not sometime in the future when I'm gonna do something. Just do it. Check it off your list. But another thing you can start doing today is stop hanging out with low vibration people. And by low vibration, I mean people that are negative, people that live in the past, people that bring up the past all the time, people that are always waiting on something great to happen instead of living for the moment. Okay, you get the kind of people I'm talking about. You know, you go into the office and the guy next to you says, oh, another great day in paradise, or oh, another day in the sweatshop, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, wah, there goes your vibration, right? Well, you know what? Go sit somewhere else or put your earbuds in and don't listen to him. Because you have a choice every single day to hang out with people that are looking ahead with bright anticipation for the things that they're manifested in their life. You have the choice every day to think the way that you want to think and to hang out with people that think like you do. And if the people you hang out with are all vibrating down here like, oh, poor me, my life sucks, blah, 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 you know what? You need new friends. You need some new friends. Okay, you don't have to completely get rid of those people, but hang out for the most part with people that are thinking higher, thinking up, thinking, you know, really positive, great thoughts about themselves. Communicate well. Find a new tribe if you need to, but you got to get out of that rut of every day surrounding yourself with people that bring your vibration down. Okay, you got to be buzzing up here where things are happening. Because the way that karma works is whatever you put out there is what you're getting back. Okay, so if you're putting out there, oh, my day sucks, I hate my job, blah, 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 guess what? That's exactly what's going to happen. Your job is going to suck, you're going to hate it, blah, blah, blah. So, but if you put out great karma, you know, you're helpful to your workmates, you do a good job, you present your work in a way that you're proud of, then that's exactly what comes back to you. And that's biblical. I mean, you can argue with me all day long if you want to, but Buddha said it, you know, Jesus said it. It's just fact. It's just the way the world works. You reap what you sow, right? And so you got to think about that, and that's the way you got to live. Don't hang out with those people that are negative Nellies all the time. So that wraps it up for today. I hope this helped. And like I said, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just giving you advice on how I found my way and how I am finding my way every single day back to being me. And so I hope this helps you some, and I encourage you along your way. And if you like my video today, please hit like, send me a comment, please subscribe. And that encourages me to make more videos too when I get my subscribers going, because I feel like I'm reaching a lot of people, and they're reaching out, and then they're reaching out, and it just creates this great vibration and raises everybody's vibration. So that's a good thing. So please subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe and watch. I would much appreciate it. Love and light. Namaste.